Congratulations on purchasing a Victor Sprite 300. In this video we are going to show you how to use the machine safely and take advantage of some of the accessories to perform different cleaning tasks. Before using a machine, prepare the area for work. Put out warning signs to let those around you know that you are working in this area. Ideally, place them at each end or entrance point to the area where you are working. To prepare the floor, first remove any loose dirt and grit by dust sweeping. Keeping the dust control mop on the floor, clean in overlapping passes. This process prevents any dirt or grit being caught in the pad under the floor machine, which may scratch the floor. Once swept, pick up the dirt and grit using a dustpan and brush or vacuum cleaner. And don't forget to vacuum the dust mop for next time. The first check for electrical safety is to see that the PA test sticker is in date. It is usually found on the handle, but sometimes on the motor cowl. If there is not a valid PAT sticker on the machine, do not use it and report to your supervisor. Carry out a visual check of the machine. Make sure there is no damage. Before and after use, it is vital to check the cable for damage. First, remove the cable from the machine. Then, using a cloth to clean the cable as you go, carefully check it for damage. Run the cable through your fingers to feel for signs of damage. Finally, check the plug has a fuse and the pins are straight. If you find any damage to the cable, do not use the machine and report to your supervisor. Internal wires visible through the outer casing of the cable are extremely dangerous. Do not use a machine with damage to the cable. Report it to your supervisor. Check that the plug has a fuse and does not smell of burning. Now check that the pins are straight. If the pins are bent, do not use the machine. The Sprite 300 is a small versatile machine that can perform many tasks. It can be fitted with a drive board to use pads, a scrubbing brush or a Gamati polishing brush. Today we are going to use a blue pad and a tank to scrub the floor. We are using a pad because the floor is even. If the floor was uneven or tiled, we would use the scrubbing brush. When fitting the tank to the machine for the first time, you first need to adjust the lever chain to the correct length. The chain is highlighted in the circle above. To get the right chain length, first fit the tank onto the machine by placing it into the hooks. Start by fitting the ring to the tank lever, making sure it is securely placed in the slot. Next, measure the length of chain between the two rings. The chain should be straight between the two rings, but not pulled tight. See that the selected link on the chain will leave the chain straight between the rings, but not too tight. Once the correct link has been selected, it can be fitted to the ring from the handle. The tank can now be refitted. Always fit the ring over the lever on the handle first. Then you can slide the handle into the hooks on the handle tube. To secure the tank, tighten the nuts on the tank starting with the top one. Then securely tighten the bottom nut. Finally, drop the solution feed tube into the centre feed hole. Open the tank flow tap. Your solution tank is now fitted and can be used by just pulling the tank lever on the handle. This is the drive board. The pad attaches to it. The pad should be perfectly centred on the drive board. If the pad is off centre, the machine will be more difficult to control and may wobble. To check the pad is in the centre, run your hand around the edge of the board. Stand behind the base to fit the drive board to the machine. To attach it, fit into the drive mechanism and turn half a circle anti-clockwise. The machine can now be plugged in and the socket switched on. Insert the RCD plug into the socket and then the plug to the machine. Finally, switch on the power and activate the RCD plug. You can now turn the machine on and start cleaning. The green light comes on to show there is power to the machine. If the green light does not come on, there is a problem with the cable or the socket. If the green light is on and the machine doesn't work, there is a problem with the machine. In this case, contact your supervisor who can arrange a service call. The handle height is controlled by the lower right lever as you use the machine, highlighted above. Set the handle height by lifting this lever and then pulling the handle down. The handle should be lowered until it is level with your hips, keeping the motor top level with the floor. Please note that the wheels should be off the floor when operating the Sprite 300. This is the correct rotary operating posture. The motor top should be level with the floor. Imagine balancing a glass of water on it. The handle should be level with your hips and your hands close to your body. Your back should be straight and your feet should be shoulder width apart, with one slightly in front of the other. The machine is controlled by the safety switches highlighted. To start the machine, first slide the top switch across as shown in figure 1. The machine can then be started by lifting the lever marked 2. To stop the machine at any time, just let go of the safety switches or just take your hands off the handle. The machine will stop dead and not move once the safety switches have been released. You will notice that there are 2 sets of safety switches on the handle. They both work in exactly the same way. Use the switches you find most comfortable. A floor polisher is moved right and left by simply raising and lowering the handle. Raise the handle to make the machine move to the right. Lower the handle and the machine will move to the left. To prevent splashes while we're scrubbing, we're going to use a splash skirt. Just lower the machine into the splash skirt, set the handle height and use the machine as normal. Any splashes created by scrubbing the floor will be contained within the skirt, reducing the amount of soil on the skirting boards after scrubbing or stripping. When cleaning an area, always work around the edge first before cutting back into the centre, following the lines as shown. Always work away from the cable, keeping it behind you at all times. When cleaning, periodically check the pad. If it is dirty, change to the clean side or replace the pad. Once you have cut back into the area, fill in the middle using systematic overlapping passes. Do not wrap the cable around the handle during use. Instead, hold loosely to keep it out of the way. Finally, always work towards your exit point so that you leave the area with the floor clean. To complete our scrubbing task, we must pick up the solution using a wet vac. Please view the video on how to use a wet vacuum to help you. Once the floor is dry and the area is safe, you can remove the warning signs. Remember, whenever handling a full tank, always wear gloves as the solution inside can be harmful. Always close the tap when you move the tank to prevent spills. Always remove the drive board or brush after use. It can be stored on the brush hook on the back of the machine. Always recheck the cable after use. Remember to twist the cable hook to the down position so the cable stays in place. A good tip when rewinding the cable is to place your hand under the first few loops. This will prevent damage from stretching the cable during the rewinding process. Once you have wound the first few loops, you can remove your hand and rewind the rest of the cable. When you get to the plug end of the cable, it is useful to wind the last bit of the cable in a figure of 8 loop around the handle, with the plug tucked under and hanging over the front of the machine. This prevents the plug dragging on the floor when you are moving the machine. The machine may cut out when the motor gets overloaded. The most likely cause of this is a dirty pad or wrongly diluted solution. If the machine cuts out, it can be reset using the reset switch. The switch is located under the back of the cowl shown by the sticker. Simply push the button and you will be able to restart the machine. Thank you for watching this film. If you have a problem with the machine you cannot solve, please call the Victor Service Department on 0121 765 2353.